योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तान् सञ्जीवयत् अखिलशक्तिधरा स्वधाम्ना अन्यांशः हस्तचरणश्रवणात्वगादीन् प्राणान् नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यम्। कथाञ्चन स्मृते यस्मिन् दुष्करं सुकरं भवेत् विस्मृते विपरीतं स्यात् श्रीचैतन्यानमामृतम्। Hare Krishna. Welcome to our weekly discussions on Srimad Bhagavatam. Today we will start with verse number 12. So we are in a very interesting section. We had discussed last time up to the 11th verse. So basically we discussed so far what Narad Muni told Vyasadeva and what Vyasadeva did after Narad Muni left. Now the answer to the second question is going to begin. So just to remind you, there are three questions which the sages have asked. They asked about the history of Srimad Bhagavatam, which has been now covered completely. Now the second question was on Parikshit Maharaj's birth and his activities and his renunciation, which is now going to be answered. And also then the third question is on Shukdev Goswami, how he was perceived when he went to Hastinapur, and how did the meeting happen with Parikshit Maharaj. Now it's very interesting. Shukdev Goswami has answered the first question in 11 verses and few verses before that, the chapter before that. But now, this second question is going to begin with background of Parikshit Maharaj's birth. What is the background? And then he's going to speak about, because there is going to be Kunti and Pandavas involved in the birth of Parikshit. So he's going to speak about Kunti Devi's prayers, then how Pandavas went and how Bhishma Dev gave help, and how then Pandavas retired. And then the sages say, wait, you are supposed to answer the question on Parikshit. So then he comes back to Parikshit Maharaj's birth, because Krishna Katha is like that, you can go anywhere. So then he comes back to Parikshit Maharaj's birth activities like that. 11 chapter, 19 till 19 chapters we'll be covering. So this is going to be the rest of the first canto. Starting from this verse, 12th verse onwards, it's going to be on stories now. The stories will be stories and prayers. So, there was a question asked about how did Bhagavatam begin, and from the 4th chapter till 7th chapter beginning, almost 2.5 chapters, this was answered. Now the second question, I just want you to come, just be on track. What has happened is, the question exactly that was asked was, by the sages was, we are interested to know about Parikshit Maharaj. He was a first-class devotee. And we have heard that his birth was very wonderful. Can you please tell us about his birth? He was a great emperor and he possessed so many opulences. He was so exalted that because of him, the Pandav dynasty's prestige increased a lot. Why did he give up everything and sit on the bank of Ganga? So like this, they have asked questions. Namanti yatpadaniketam atmana shivaya hani yadanani shatrava. Katam sadira shyamanga dushyajam yuveshato sashtumaho sahasudhi. This is why I'm going background, 4th chapter, where they are saying how Parikshit Maharaj was so beautiful, so mature that he had no enemies, and everybody would come and surrender to him. He had so many opulences, and he was in the prime of his youth. Why did he want to give up everything? It is very shocking, like if somebody is very handsome, successful, wealthy, then and suddenly gives up everything, people will be eager to know, right? Like recently I heard one girl, she is an India topper in CS, company secretary. She's taken sannyas, she's given up everything and she's become a Jain monk. So now she's in the news. Bill Gates, and many others, I forget the name, they have not left any inheritance for their children. So these things intrigue people. So now, therefore, their sages are asking in the 4th chapter, I'm going back a little bit, just to give you a background of the eagerness they have to know about Parikshit Maharaj, so that we also have the same eagerness, because they're going to hear about Parikshit Maharaj. One of the things they ask is, Shivaya lokasya bhavaya bhutaye ya uttama shloka parayana jana jivanti natma tamaso parashrayam mumocha nirvidya kutah kalevaram. They say that he was interested only in the welfare, development, and happiness of others. He never had any selfish interest. So he was free from any attachment. So why did he have to give up all this? Anyway, he was not living for himself. So like this, they're having all these questions. So now what Sukha Goswami is going to do is, okay, he's going to say, you want to know about Parikshit Maharaj? First, I will tell you about the events leading to his birth, which is very exciting and very interesting. And this will open up a lot of questions in your mind also. So let's see what happens. So first, 12th verse we will start. You can repeat after me. 12th verse, and 12 to 16 is the lamentation for Pandava's sons. What is happening, we will read. Please repeat. And who will read the translations today? Last time, who read? Last time? You read. So from Prabhuji will have to read today. You will read too. Okay. Parikshitota Rajarshe Janma Karma Vilapanam Samstam Chapandu Putranam Bhakshe Krishna Tatodayam.
Sukha Goswami thus addressed the rishis headed by Shaunaka. Now I shall begin the transcendental narration of the Lord Sri Krishna and topics of birth, activities, and deliverance of King Parikshit, the sage amongst the kings, as well as the topics of renunciation of the worldly order by the sons of Pandu.
Yeah. So now it is going to begin. So 13 and 14. Yada mride kauravasranjayanam Viresh pato viragatim gateshu Rukodara viddagada bimarsha Bhagno rudande dhitarashtra putre Vartu priyamdrao niritisma pasyan Krishna sutanam sapatam shiramsi Upaharad vipriyameva tasya Jugopsitam karma vigarayanti.
When the respective warriors of both camps, namely the Kauravas and the Pandavas, were killed on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, and the dead warriors obtained their deserved destination, and when the son of Dhritarashtra fell down lamenting, his spine broken, being beaten by the club of Bhimsen, the son of Dronacharya Ashwatthama, beheaded the 5 sleeping sons of Draupadi, and delivered their heads as a prize to his master. Foolishly thinking that he would be pleased, Duryodhana, however, disapproved of this heinous act, and he was not pleased at the least.
So what did Ashwatthama do? So basically, what is Sukha Goswami saying? The war has got over, and Duryodhana was about to die. His spine is broken. He's lying on the ground, and Ashwatthama, what he did? He went and killed 5 sleeping sons of Draupadi, thinking that he's killed Pandavas, and he brought those heads, thinking Duryodhana will be very happy, and he presented it to Duryodhana as a prize. And what did Duryodhana do? He disapproved. Actually, first of all, he rejected that these are heads of the Pandavas. When he touched Bhima's head, okay, Bhima ka head nahi ho sakta. First of all, he knew that these are not Pandavas. By touching the head, he knew that it's not soft. Ye Bhima ka head nahi ho sakta. So this can't be Bhima. And then he got very upset that Ashwatthama has killed the heir to the throne. Pandavas के बच्चों को ही मार दिया. So he felt very bad and he disapproved this act. He said this is a heinous act. Sleeping children, first of all, children ko mara, sleeping, and our future is not there. So you can imagine if Duryodhana is saying this is heinous, how heinous it must be. So that's what Ashwatthama did. So let's see what happens now. Text 15. Mata Shishunam Nidanam Sutanam Nishamya Goram Prati Paritapyamana Sudarudadvashpakala Kulakshi Tam Santvayan Aha Kiritamali.
Draupadi, the mother of 5 children of the Pandavas, after hearing of the massacre of her son, began to cry in distress with eyes full of tears. Trying to pacify her in her great loss, Arjuna spoke to her thus.
So naturally, the mother, when she sees her 5 sons are killed, she is lamenting. Now, please remember this past time because in future classes, the whole discussion when how Draupadi she actually forgives Ashwatthama. We are going to come back to this. So you have to understand the pain she must be feeling now that her 5 sons who were sleeping have been killed. So what pain it must be for a mother. And then Arjuna is referred here as Kirita Mali. Means Arjuna used to wear a garland of crowns. Means usko itna upadhi mila, itna crown mila. So very poetically saying that Kirita Mali, Kirit ka, crown ka mala pehanta tha. Not literally, but it means is he was so, he had so many awards and so many victories. So what does it tell Draupadi? Let's see. Tada shuchaste pramurjami badre yad brahma bando shiraha tataina Gandiva mukte vishike rupahare Pakramya yatsnasya siddhagda putra.
O gentle lady, when I present you with the head of that Brahmana, after beheading him with arrows of my Gandhi bow, I shall then wipe the tears from your eyes and pacify you.
He is giving a reassurance that I am going to get this rascal. How to do this? So he's giving a reassurance. So this is the 5 verses, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. Now 70 to 34 is how Arjuna will capture Ashwatthama. But till now, we have spoken about so many topics in Bhagavad. They have also spoken about Krishna. But today is a very special class. Today is the 49th class in our series. And today, first time Krishna is going to enter Srimad Bhagavatam. Krishna has entered in narrations of third person. But now you will see Krishna entering this great, like a movie. What is that? They have blockbusters. What is that for magnum opus? Bhagavatam is the greatest narration, greatest scripture. So first time Krishna is appearing in person. Others have spoken about Krishna. So how Krishna appears in the Bhagavatam is going to be very interesting. So hold your breath, listen attentively. Now, till now it was all about Krishna. Others were speaking, right? So now you see how Krishna enters Bhagavatam. Text number 17. Iti priyambal vichitra jalpe sa santvayitva chutamitra suta Anvadradam Shita Ugradamba Kapidvajo Guru Putram Ratena.
Arjun, who is guided by the infallible Lord as a friend and a driver, thus satisfied the dear lady by such statements. Then he dressed in armor and armed himself with furious weapons, and getting into his chariot, he set out to follow Ashwatthama, the son of Master Sita.
So how is Krishna being introduced in the Bhagavatam?
Infallible Lord.
As friend and driver. Bhagavad Gita, how is Krishna introduced? How does Krishna enter the Bhagavad Gita? Driver. In any blockbuster movie, how does the movie hero enter? In बड़ा style में enter करते हैं. Special entry होता है. Now first they will show his lotus feet, or they will show him jumping from somewhere, and then they'll slowly, and finally they will show his face. And then if it's a South Indian movie, he will flick his hair. He'll flick his hair and he will do something, some stunt, and everybody will whistle and they'll start jumping. Last week I was in Kolkata with a group of devotees from England, and I was taking them to Prabhupada's birthplace. So on the way there was a big movie poster. For me it was normal. India में देखते हैं हम लोग. And there was a hero of that movie. Movie theater के बाहर there was a big poster, and there was a cutout of the hero of the movie with a big gun, and he was standing. It was 8 foot tall, I think, 7 foot tall cutout. So for me it was normal, but people behind were laughing a lot. I thought, why are you laughing? This is normal. I said, no, look at him carefully. I looked at him. He had a gun. Normal poster cutout. I said, yeah, it's normal. I said, no problem. Look again. I saw. Then I realized this hero had 8-9 garlands on his body. उसको हार पहना और इधर एक ऐसा लाल बिंदी डाला है ऐसा. And not even a Hindu, you know, अगर हिंदू है कोई तो फिर डाल सकते हैं. तो उसको ऐसा डाला है और ऐसा गन बंदूक लेके खड़ा है. And I was like, wow, they're worshipping him. This is how a hero enters the movie. Banduk leke, and then he'll bash up all the gundas. But here we see, it's amazing how Krishna is entering Bhagavad. This is like, Bhagavatam is going to be there forever. Bhagavad Gita is going to be there forever. And, generally when the movie hero enters, people, audience clap. They like to, they identify. But Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, and the greatest movie is Bhagavatam. This is a very, very symbolic also. It's very, very important for us to understand that Krishna enters as a devotee, as a servant of his devotee, as a devotee of his devotee. So how we should live. If Krishna likes to be in the mood of a servant, we are actually Krishna's servants. How can we be master mood? Interesting, good question. We have to think about this. Okay, if you want to enter Krishna's pastime in Vrindavan, if somebody enters Vrindavan, Krishna Vrindavan Leela. So how is the supreme hero, the supreme Lord, appear in Vrindavan chapter of Bhagavatam? As a child fearing Mother Yashoda. Supreme Lord, the supreme hero, he enters Vrindavan as a fearful child. Namam Ishwaram Satchidananda Rupam Rasat Kundalam Gokule Vrajaman. His mother is running behind him, and he is out of fear running because he has broken the butter pot, and his earrings are, the Sukadeva Goswami says, of all the ornaments on Krishna's body, his earrings are the most fortunate because they are constantly kissing Krishna's cheeks. So Krishna is running in fear of Mother Yashoda. So it's the greatest hero, And who is running? Who is he afraid of? A simple woman. Coward woman. So this is Krishna for you. The same Krishna, if you read Upanishads, is addressed as the great, whom time is afraid of, and everybody is offering obeisances from front, back, sideways. It's like very lofty and high-fi verses. They are so difficult that I also don't memorize them. So the rasa nahi aata hai usme, And Krishna also gets bored by those prayers that are offered. He prefers to hear the prayers, or he prefers a rasa wala relationship, where there is rasa, where there is love. And therefore, he prefers to be introduced as I am a servant of my devotees. That's why in Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Vrindavan pastimes. So this is how our Krishna is. Our hero is a servant. So this is how we have entered now Bhagavatam. This is how Krishna is, likes to be remembered by a devotee. That's why in the 14th chapter, 10th canto, I'm just jumping into 10th canto now, Vrindavan. Brahma gets totally bewildered by the Krishna eating butter and playing with his friends, and he does all this. It's a long pastime, Brahma Vimohan. So after that pastime, he begs forgiveness from Krishna, and then he offers beautiful prayers. So one of the prayers he offers is very beautiful. He says, you can repeat this after me. It's beautiful prayer. Aho bhagyam, Nanda Gopa Prajaukasam, Yan Mitram Paramanandam, Purnam Brahma Sanatanam. He's saying, Aho Bhagyam, Aho Bhagyam. Are Bhagya dekho ye logon ka. Brajvasiyon ka Bhagya dekho. Look at their fortune. Aho Bhagyam. Kiska Bhagya? Nanda Gopa Prajaukasam. Nanda Gopa, all the Gopas and Nanda Maharaj. Yan Mitram Paramanandam. Who is their best friend who is giving them immense joy? Purnam Brahma Sanatanam. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Supreme Lord, the Absolute Truth, Purna Brahma, he has decided to become their friend. So, and not only a friend, he has become such a friend that the Brajavasis think Krishna needs our protection. मतलब वो height हो गया. God is protecting us. That's what we believe, right? And we understand. But Brajavasis are convinced that he needs. If you go and tell a Brajavasi that Krishna is God, Krishna God to you. Krishna तुम्हारे लाला है. We can't imitate that. Like I remember once we were in Nandagaon taking prasad at Brajavasi's house. तो थोड़ा तीखा था वो सब्जी. तो ऐसे बोल दिया मैंने वो गोस्वामी जी को. अरे because it is महाप्रसाद they brought from the altar. अब ठाकुर जी को ऐसा तीखा खिलाते भोग में. ऐसा पूछ दोस्ती था तो पूछ लिया. I took liberty in asking him. कि ठाकुर जी को इतना तीखा भोग चढ़ाते हैं. तो बोले अरे प्रभु जी ठाकुर जी होंगे आपके, हमारे तो लाला है और वो ब्रजवासी है, वो तो तीखा ही खाते हैं. सॉरी, he reminded me who he is and who I am. अपने औकात में रहो. तो ब्रजवासी के लिए वो लाला है, वो कृष्ण है. If you tell them अरे कृष्ण गॉड है, you can't logically prove to them. If you say, see, one proof, Krishna lifted Govardhan. अरे बोलेंगे वो कृष्ण ने थोड़े उठाए. कुछ माखन सो बल बढ़ो, कुछ गोपन करे सहाय, श्री राधा जी की कृपा सो गिरिवर लियो उठाए. वो कुछ माखन खा के बल बढ़ गया उनका. कुछ माखन सो बल बढ़ो, कुछ गोपन करे सहाय. सब गोप लोग खड़े थे लकड़ी लेके, और श्री राधा जी की कृपा सो, राधा जी की कृपा थी उनके ऊपर, गिरिवर लियो उठाए. सो ब्रजवासी अलग ही लेवल पे. कृष्णा लव्ड इट. Krishna loves it. So therefore, this is how Krishna likes to be presented. And उसका एक glimpse हमको मिल गया, chariot driver. The hero here is Arjuna, making big promise to Draupadi. And it's all, even later you will see, Krishna will take the chariot. He is not able to convince Yudhishthir. Yudhishthir is depressed after the war. Krishna is not able to convince him. Krishna takes him to Bhishma and Bhishma convinces him. So, because Krishna's devotee is Bhishma also, so he wants Bhishma to be glorified. So, like that. Therefore, even Shukdev Goswami, this is 10, I was speaking about 14th chapter. The previous, there is one chapter called Krishna Childhood Pastimes. That is the 11th chapter of 10th canto, which is one of the most beautiful chapters of Bhagavad 10th canto. So, there 7, 8, 9 are one of my favorite verses, where it is described why Krishna does all this. The science behind Krishna doing all this childish pastimes. So, Shukdev Goswami says, this also you can repeat, they are beautiful verses. Gopi bhistopito nritya. Gopi bhistopito nritya. Bhagavan balavat kvachit. उद्गायति क्वचिन्मुग्धस् तद्वशो दारुयंत्रवत्। राइट नो आपका दिमाग अलर्ट हो गया, अटेंटिव हो गया, नींद उड़ जाएगा तो श्लोका बोल। गोपी भी स्तोभितो नृत्य, गोपियों ने कहा कृष्ण से डांस करो, कृष्ण स्टार्ट डांसिंग। सिंपल गोपी टोल्ड एंड सुबह गोस्वामी से अरे ऐसे बच्चे को नचा रहे हैं, पर जानते नहीं भगवान बालरथ पचित, अरे भगवान है वो बाल छोटे से बच्चे नहीं है। और क्या कर रहे हैं? उद्गायति, गोपियां कह रही अरे कृष्णा थोड़ा गाओ। उद्गायति पचित मुग्ध एंड स्टार्ट सिंगिंग Mugdhas, and it increases the affection for in the hearts of the gopis so much. And Rudra Goswami says, he was doing all this, he was under their control. Tad vasho, उनके वश में थे, कैसे? दारु यंत्रवत। दारु यंत्र, दारु मतलब जो आप सोच रहे हो वो नहीं। What is दारू in Sanskrit? Wood. दारु यंत्रवत मतलब wooden doll. तो कृष्णा was dancing and singing in the control, tad vasho, in the control of the gopis like a wooden doll. This is the Supreme Lord, Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is how he enters Bhagavatam. This is how he is in Vrindavan. And the next verse says, Nanda Maharaj said, Krishna is a baby Krishna, is 3-year-old. Feet, उनको पूजा करने के लिए feet चाहिए था. So he could get that plank. So then Krishna, what did he do? विभर्ति क्वचित् आज्ञप्तं पीठकोन्मानपादुकम् बाहुक्षेपं च कुरुते स्वानां च प्रीत्यावहन्। विभर्ति क्वचित आज्ञप्त, पिताजी ने आज्ञा दिया कि वो पीठ कोन्मान, पीठ लेके आओ, पादुका लेके आओ, मेरे शूज लेके आओ। तो कृष्णा ब्रॉट दैट, बट देन when he was asked to get the mortar, grinding mortar was a little heavy, so Krishna tried to lift it, he couldn't lift it. ट्राई किया, तो बच्चा ट्राई करता है, बच्चे से नहीं होता है तो बच्चा गिव अप करता है। But what did Krishna do? बाहुक्षेपम च कुरुते। बाहुक्षेपम मतलब बाहों को ऐसा ऐसा, अरे नहीं हो रहा है, वापस ट्राई कर। बाहुक्षेपम च, when Krishna was doing like this, स्वानाम च प्रीत्यावहन्, जो प्रीति ऑलरेडी था गोपों के दिल में, वो और बढ़ने लगा, सुनामी आ गया। स्वानाम च मतलब प्रीति का सुनामी आ गया दिल। So like this is what is happening in Vrindavan every day. And finally, Sukadeva Goswami gives a verdict. Why does Krishna do all this? Why does Krishna performs this kind of childish activity? There are two reasons. Isliye this verse at least you repeat attentively, because you will know the two reasons why Krishna does this. You will know why then Krishna comes to the chariot racer. Why is always servant? Kyun? There are two reasons. Please repeat. Darshayamstat vidam loka आत्मनो वृत्य वश्यताम् प्रजस्यो वाह वै हर्षम् भगवान् बालचेष्टिता। दर्शयाम तद विदाम, पूरे लोक को ये दर्शन दिया भगवान ने एक बच्चे का, जो बच्चा भाग रहा है, नटखट है। दर्शयाम तद विदाम लोका आत्मनो, क्या दर्शन दिखाया? अपना इस तरह का दर्शन क्यों दिखाया? पहला, आत्मनो वृत्य वश्यताम। वृत्य मतलब सर्वेंट, मैं अपने सर्वेंट के कंट्रोल में हूं। आत्मनो वृत्य वश्यताम, ये साबित करने के लिए उन्होंने ये सब चाइल्डिश पास टाइम। दूसरा रीजन, अभी आपको साबित होता है नहीं होता है, दूसरा रीजन बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है कृष्ण के लिए। व्हाट इज दैट? ब्रजस्यो वाह वै हर्षम, ब्रजवासियों को खुशी देने के लिए, उनको आनंद देने के लिए भगवान बालचेष्टिते। टू रीजंस। व्हाट आर द टू रीजंस व्हाई कृष्णा परफॉर्म चाइल्डिश पास टाइम? वन इज टू एस्टैब्लिश टू द वर्ल्ड that he is controlled by his devotees who love him. And second,
enjoyment to
Brajavasis, because they are the best devotees. So this is Krishna's situation. This is Krishna's natural for him. So if Krishna is like this, that's the point now. The main point here, if Krishna likes to be servant of devotees, oh, what should be our mood? Okay, we will be master? No, we have to be more servant. That is the whole idea. His Holiness Srila Sachinandan Swami Maharaj, he was here and we were introducing him for the program. It was a youth program, a secular kind of program. So, this material qualification experience, we have done this course, he's expert in mediation, other introduction, we were giving long introduction of Maharaj. And Maharaj is listening very attentively. So after the whole introduction, Maharaj said, thank you for the introduction, but you forgot to mention very important thing. So the devotee said, oh, sorry Maharaj, I think you are PhD also, no? So I missed it. Maharaj said, no, you forgot one point. That devotee was thinking, and then Maharaj said, the most important point you forgot to mention in your introduction is that, which you did not say, is that I'm a servant of all devotees. That you did not say. Baki sab bata diya, bada bada cheez. So this is very common characteristic of devotees and Krishna, that they always want to be servant. इसलिए हम सबके नाम क्या आ गए? दास. तो नया नया आता है ना, वो बोलता है मंदिर में कि सिक्योरिटी, वो दास से मिलने, मिस्टर दास. तो सिक्योरिटी ऐसा, यार कहाँ मिलेगा था? इधर सब 150 दास रहते हैं इधर. So see, there is one more very important characteristic of Krishna and devotees. They don't simply say that they are servants. If you see in this pastime, Krishna is not going around saying that I am a servant. I think everybody is feeling very cold. I was also feeling, but I didn't say anything because I thought you are enjoying it. As your servant, I thought. Yesterday also same thing happened in the children's youth program. Everybody was feeling cold. तो 25 नहीं कर सकते उसको. हाँ फिर बंद कर दूँगा. स्विच ऑफ है ना, ठीक है, थोड़ी देर के बाद ऑन करेंगे अगर गर्मी लगे. वो आई थिंक उसके जैसे. So one more important characteristic of devotees and Krishna is that they don't simply say that I'm servant. You see, Krishna is not going around saying I'm servant. What is Krishna doing? He is doing what a servant does. What's important? See, we may say I'm servant, but most important is, see, in the Bhagavatam also, Krishna is entering by not saying that I'm a servant. Aage I'm a servant. No. He doesn't say, रिश्ते में तो हम तुम्हारे दास लगते हैं. ना मैं Krishna. He doesn't say like that. He actually does it. He does the servant role, right? So, so basically, what we learned from this is, I learned this from Radheshyam, that Krishna never says he's a servant. He says in a few places, but his mood is he will do the nature of a servant. So as devotees, we should remember this. There are three things. One is knowing, second is doing, and third is being. Remember this. So we know that we have to be servant, right? We come to class, we learn knowledge. Right now we are knowing that we have to be servant. Some of us, we know that we are servant and we also do the servant thing. थोड़ा एक level आगे जाते. There are very few people. See, when we are doing servant means what? I know I have to be servant, but I don't feel like serving today. But I will do it because I know that I'm servant. I will do it consciously. But there is next level, which is being a servant. वो being मतलब वो अंदर पूरा ingrained हो गया है ना? Like for example, if I'm coming to give a class, so I may know I'm servant of all the devotees who are coming for the class, but I may know it, but I may not do it. So I have to go pray to Krishna, I have to remember I'm servant. याद दिलाना पड़ता है. So that is like doing. Being मतलब वो seamlessly, it is part of you. You are in the mood of a servant. It is fixed in your consciousness. You don't have to try to be a servant. So it's an internalized state, which translates into action also, which translates into words also. So for all of us, first we have to know that I am servant. Then we have to keep doing the servant. And then it will be. But Krishna is be servant. He's like, it's internalized for him. It's like, for him, it's intrinsically humble. It's not that he has to try and be humble. And that's why he serves devotees. He loves devotees. It's not that he's practicing, okay, I have to serve my devotees. I have to serve my devotees. He is naturally controlled by his devotee. Krishna likes to be controlled. And not one or two leelas. There are thousands and thousands of pastimes in the scriptures. Like if you see the Rajasuya sacrifice in Mahabharata, Krishna washes the feet of all devotees. And if you see the very famous pastime of Jarasandha, Jarasandha was killed. How was Jarasandha? Who killed Jarasandha? But Bhima was not able to kill after fighting for 28 days. Who helped him? Krishna helped him. तो उनको बोला कि उसका पैर को ऐसा बीच में से तोड़ के फिर उसको ए साइड पे उसको ए साइड. Krishna gave the idea. So when they were coming back to Hastinapur, they were returning back. So everybody knew now Bhima is killed means Krishna only has done everything. They know. But Krishna sent Bhima in the front. Bhima was receiving all the accolades. And Arjuna second. And Krishna was behind. Krishna was not in the front. मैं आ गया इनको लेके. It's very interesting. Mahabharata में ऐसा describe किया है. Krishna came behind. So why didn't Krishna come in the front? So Jiva Goswami writes a beautiful purport. He says, because Krishna is naturally shy. He feels that, oh, they will all glorify me, that I helped Bhima kill. He didn't want that. So Krishna likes others to be glorified. He's naturally like that. Like when Kunti Devi, read the next chapter, Kunti Devi is going to glorify Krishna very much. Beautiful prayers. After all the prayers she offers, what did Krishna's reaction? What did Krishna say? What did Krishna do? Anybody knows? He just smiled. He just smiled. Because Krishna loves his devotees and he just wants to serve them. Ultimately, he is a doer. And we are supposed to glorify him. And he is the supreme enjoyer. And he tells Arjuna in the Gita, Arjuna, I have already killed all the warriors. You don't believe me? Look at my mouth. And Krishna shows his universal form. And all the skulls of Duryodhana, everything is going inside his mouth and is crushing. The Bhagavad Gita 11th chapter describes in graphic detail how the skulls of these warriors are getting crushed under Krishna's feet. It's an amazing Virat Rupa. So it's like Krishna is destroying everything as Kala. And then he tells Arjuna, but Mayeva Vihita, everything is happening by my control, but you take the credit. Nimitta Matram Bhavasavya Sakshi. Be an instrument and take all the precious labasva, get all the yasha, success, fame sab tum le lo. So Krishna does the work and he gives credit to others. आपको कभी कभी बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट चीज राइट टाइम पे याद आया है, आपको लगता है कि मैं स्मार्ट हूँ, श्लोका याद किया, लास्ट week I had given a homework to memorize the verse. How many of you memorized? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Thank you, 6 of you. Would you like to lead us in that verse? Any one of you? Mataji, would you like to lead? Yes, Pita Mataji, yes. Try. I'll prompt you. Don't. है ना कुर्सी.
1.7.6.
It begins with Atma Suta Uvacha. Wait. You say the word, we'll follow you. First, start. Suta Uvacha Munayo Atma Ramascha Munayo Api Urukrame Nirgranta Api Urukrame Uruvan Tukim Bhaktim. Yes. Kurvantahetu kim bhaktim. Haribo. Vitam bhuta guno hari. Good, good, good. So like this. So I thought.
These words, these points.
See, we'll have one class on memorizing verses later, but I'm happy you, 6 of you will memorize. So why weren't we going to that? I don't know. ये टॉपिक याद आया मुझे यार. हाँ, क्या we remember? कि आपने भीड़ बैग रख दिया कहीं, निकल गए, कभी पासपोर्ट का बैग रख दिया. मेरे साथ हुआ है, कभी पढ़ लिया पे, अरे मैंने रियलाइज एक मिनट कैसे मुझे याद आया. Krishna was standing next to us. Krishna was telling us, जाके लेके आओ. Krishna is only doing it. We think I'm smart, I can travel all over the world and I can do this. I can give lectures. I remember verses. Krishna भगवान खड़े, थोड़ा सा स्विच ऑफ कर दिया ना, एक बटन कुछ नहीं चलेगा. तो सब कुछ Krishna reminds us what to do. Krishna does things for us, and Krishna allows us to do many things. When we express gratitude, we should express gratitude for what Krishna tells us. That means जो हमको अंदर से इंस्पिरेशन आता है, for what Krishna arranges for us, and what Krishna allows us to do. Always Krishna is taking care of us, but still He allows us to get credit. किसी का इतना सुंदर आवाज होता है. अभी मैं रिसेंटली मुझे किसी ने वीडियो भेजा, यूट्यूब का लिंक भेजा. 3 बच्चे इतना अच्छा कीर्तन करते हैं, वो इतना अच्छा भजन गा रही है, लड़की बच्ची है. Mesmerized, and then I thought, oh, what Krishna has given talent. It's Krishna's power. How Krishna is giving Shakti. But Krishna is giving credit and fame to that girl. That people are getting fame and name in this world. So even this pastime, you will see as we go ahead that Krishna will help Arjuna. Arjuna is actually going to get confused totally. मैंने थोड़ा आगे का बता रहा हूँ अभी. Because Brahmastra, Ashwatthama is going to panic when Arjuna attacks him and is going to release Brahmastra. And Arjuna knows how to discharge a Brahmastra, but he doesn't know how to neutralize the Brahmastra. And that Krishna only does, teaches him how to do. So Arjuna doesn't know how to cancel the Brahmastra that is attacked. So like that, see, I'm just asking you what I'm trying to tell you is, whose heart will not be touched when you have some friend or Lord who is having such kind of quality, that is wanting to be servant, is wanting to always help. So, so that's why he's called as the Samam. Krishna is called as the Samam Bonam of all incarnation. Samam Bonam means ultimately all good and nothing bad about it. It's like, if you go to the sun, in the sun there is only light. There is no darkness in the sun. Similarly, in Krishna, it's all love, it's all this priti. Therefore, if you are feeling in life, sometimes, oh, but Krishna is not helping me, I'm having this problem, you should know that Krishna is controlling us, because that control is for our own good. Just like if you're with your child in the bus and the child puts the hand out of the window, you pull the child's hand back. So that's appearing to be controlling the child. But that control you are doing because you love the child. Similarly, I've seen many devotees, we go through a lot of suffering or a lot of, lot of suffering, lot of pain, and our desire don't get fulfilled, right? That's because we also have naughty behavior, mischievous behavior. Like Ashwatthama is very naughty, very bad behavior. So Krishna is going to punish him. So, like that. So basically, we have to understand one very important thing today. Krishna has 2 forms. One is this form which we describe now, the servant, Sri Vrindavan. He's carrying the sandals of his father on his head. These are all very Saumya Rupa of Krishna. Very sweet, loving Rupa. Krishna also has Virat Rupa. Ferocious looking. So, in that form, he's killing, he's crushing, right? But he also has soft side. So you have to make a choice. Which form you want to connect to. Because dono hai. When Krishna entered the assembly of Kamsa in that wrestling arena, you know what happened? Malla, I won't tell you to repeat. It's very, but it's a very beautiful word. Because I also don't remember now. Malla Shanirnam Naravaru Srinam Smaro Murtiman Gopanam Pajano Satam Kshitibhujam Sastava Pitaro Shishu Mrityu Bhojapater Virada Vidusha Tattvam Param Yoginam Vrishninam Paradevate Vidito Rangam Gatasagraja Rangam रंग क्षेत्र में सा अग्रजा अपने बड़े भाई के साथ कृष्णा एंटर द wrestling arena of Kamsa. So what happened? How did people see Krishna? Why I'm saying this now? You all have a choice how to see Krishna. You have a choice. Like wrestling arena, everybody had a choice to see Krishna and everybody saw him differently. Malla Nama Shanir, the wrestlers, they saw Krishna and Balaram entering. They thought, immediately they felt lightning, thunder has entered. Malla Nama Shanir Nam Naravaro. All the men there, they thought, wow, we कौन है handsome? एकदम handsome लड़का आ गया यार, कितना smart है, handsome है, कौन है? That's what the men thought. Malla Nama Shanir Nam Naravaro Srinam Smaro Murtiman. The women thought Mr. Cupid has come. सबका अलग अलग दृष्टि से देख रहे हैं. मल्ला नाम शनीन्द्र नाम नरवरो स्त्री नाम स्मरो मूर्ति नाम गोपा नाम स्वजनो. गोपगण भी आए थे वृंदावन से वो देखने के लिए. तो लोग ने देखा कृष्ण अंदर आ रहे हैं, बलराम अंदर आ रहे हैं. गोपा नाम स्वजन, अरे अपना यार, रे कृष्णा अपना यार आ गया. वो फॉर देम इट वाज लाइक देयर फ्रेंड वाज कम वृंदावन से. They became very excited. They started jumping. So you see the contrast. Gopanam Svajano Satam Kshitibhujam. There are some very envious, impious kings. So they thought, they saw Krishna, they immediately felt somebody has come to punish us. उनको ऐसा फीलिंग आने लगा तो कोई हमको सजा देने के लिए अंदर आ गया. क्या है ना कृष्ण का अमेजिंग एबिलिटी टू गिव डिफरेंट सिग्नल्स टू डिफरेंट पीपल. गोपानाम Svajano Satam Kshitibhujam Sastava Pitaro Shishu. Elderly people saw, अरे प्यारा बच्चा, हमारा बच्चा है, मेरा बच्चा है, मेरा बच्चा. सबको अपना बच्चा लगा. Wow, they felt parental affection seeing Krishna and Balaram. Or then there was Bhojapatir. Kamsa was sitting also in that assembly. Oh, Kamsa saw Sastava Pitaro Shishu Mrityu Bhojapatir. मृत्यु आ गया, मेरा डेथ आ गया अंदर. So immediately he saw death. Look at the contrast. Mrityu Bhojapatir Virada Vidusha. There are some unintelligent, foolish people. They thought, ये तो ऐसे ही ordinary body. That also be. So many times people say, अरे कृष्ण क्या worship करते हैं आप लोग? तो ordinary ये लड़का है. Krishna will make that also. मृत्यु भोजपते विराट विदुषा तत्वम परम योगी नाम. योगी लोग भी आए थे वो wrestling मैच देखने के स्टेडियम में. वो लोगों ने जैसे देखा कृष्ण बलराम को आते हुए उनको लगा परम तत्व परमात्मा हमारा जो अंदर है वो बाहर आ गया. वृष्णि नाम पर देवते. तो वृष्णि डायनेस्टी के लोग आए थे. तो हमारे खानदान का है. Immediately they felt, although he was coming from Vrindavan, but they felt हमारा. Rangam, this is how Krishna entered. This is how different people were perceiving Krishna. So we have a choice. So we want to connect with Krishna's Virat Rupa, angry form, or Krishna's sweet form. God is great, but God is also sweet. All religions present God as great. We present God as great and sweet. दोनों है ना. लाइक वो रोम में जो बड़ा चैपल है उनका वेटिकन में, तो उधर बड़ा बनाया उन्होंने. उधर उसमें गॉड का माइकल एंजेलो का पेंटिंग है. ऐसा लाइट आ रहा है, गॉड ऐसा आ रहा है. एंड ऑल पीपल आर अफ्रेड ऑफ दैट फॉर्म ऑफ गॉड. ऐसा गॉड, वो गॉड का फॉर्म देखे सब लोग ऐसा भाग रहे. ऐसा बड़ा पेंटिंग है. और हमारा क्या है, हमारा गॉड ऐसा डर के भाग रहे हैं अपने मदर यशोदा को देख के. तो ये कहाँ समझाएंगे उनको ये. अलग ही है. So therefore, Srila Prabhupada says that, in one Prabhupada says, Karna, Dushasana, Duryodhana, they saw material form of Krishna. They saw the angry, the ferocious form, Virat form, destructive form. And Pandavas, they saw Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena Santa Sadeva Hridayeshu Vilokayanti Yam Shama Sundaram Atintya Gunaswarupam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajam. प्रेम का अंजन, आपका आइस का जो ऑइंटमेंट लगाते हैं इसको, अगर प्रेम को ऑइंटमेंट लगाया देन संतः सदैव हृदयेषु विलोकयन्ति, आप हमेशा कृष्ण को अपने हार्ट में देखो. So therefore it is very important that we see Krishna as someone who is always giving us resources, always giving us intelligence, always there with us. Simple thing, when suddenly you forget something and you remember suddenly, to immediately understand Krishna. It's like, it's like you keep your mobile here and you walk out. And if I tell you, Rajan Prabhu, come back, you forgot your mobile. And you will tell me, thank you. Because you will acknowledge that I told you. Similarly, whenever you on your own remember anything, you should understand that right next to you there is Krishna sitting and is telling you. Like when you get up in the morning, you know who you are. Just imagine you get up and you don't know my cow, kaun. Bhagwan yaad dilate andar se. I don't know, I have experienced when you travel a lot and you're exhausted sometimes, totally exhausted. You must have experienced. And suddenly in the middle of the night when you get up, I'm blank, I don't know where I am. Which city? Where? And then Krishna. Thank you, Krishna. Imagine, I don't know. Krishna is there, controlling all the switches, taking care of us. So therefore, we have to connect with Krishna. So that's why Bhagavatam में भगवान ने ऐसा introduce किया अपने आप को हमारे लिए, so that we get attracted to this form as a driver is coming, so that how much I should be servant. See, there's a very interesting passage in Mahabharata. The war is about to start, and Krishna is getting the chariot. So पूरा विश्व शुरू होने वाला है. Duryodhan stop. शुरू होने वाला है war. Duryodhan looks at Krishna and says, "Oh Dwarkadish, you are worshipped in Dwarka. You sit on a big throne. Oh, you are the supreme controller. What a joke. You have entered this battlefield as a servant, as a driver. Don't you feel ashamed? This is below your dignity. You are Dwarkadish." He starts laughing. What a fool you are. Like that, he makes fun of Krishna because he's a driver. And everybody is watching Duryodhana ridiculing Krishna. And how does Krishna respond to that? Anybody know? What do you think Krishna tells Duryodhana? Krishna just smiles. He doesn't say anything. He just smiles and he nods his head. Why? Because our acharyas give commentary that Krishna smiled because in that smile he was telling him, Duryodhana, you are right. I am servant of my devotee, Arjuna. And not only that, you will very soon see that I am going to be now servant of his servant. Arjuna's servant is these horses. I am going to clean the horses in the middle of the battlefield. I am going to bathe them, brush them, and make them take rest. So that Arjuna is ready for fighting. This is the height of being servant, because when Karna's chariot got stuck, he told his driver Shalya, कि निकालो पहिए को, बोले मैं तुम्हारा नौकर नहीं हूं, मैं चैरियट चला रहा हूं बस, वो सब नहीं करूंगा मैं, below my dignity. So it's not easy. So Krishna, that's how Krishna told, basically he told Duryodhana that I'll not only be servant of my devotees, I'll be servant of my devotees. Servants, devotee के servants का भी मैं सेवा करूं. So this is our Krishna, and this is our chance to connect with Krishna through Bhagavatam. So I invite all of you for our classes, because now today we have touched a very important section of the Bhagavatam. Now we have touched Krishna. 49 classes से भाग रहे थे, आज कृष्ण को छू लिया. अभी कृष्ण को पकड़ना है, पकड़ के रखना है. ये कृष्ण को पकड़ के रखना. The next class will be our 50th class in this series. So we will enter now. We'll see what Krishna advises Arjuna, what Arjuna does with Ashwatthama, and then what Draupadi does, what all happens. Parishit Maharaj is yet to be born. but all this background is happening. So I invite all of you to this classes. Hare Krishna. Any comments or questions regarding today's class? Yes.
You have known that he taught Christianity and other students also. And I think they have the Bhagavad Gita also. So what is the cause? They do not understand, their mind is not changed for the Krishna, and they do not accept, and they are ready for the war.
Prabhupada says it is causeless envy. He says, but Duryodhana knew Krishna is God. You know, and why didn't he surrender? देख रहे इतना सब कर रहे हैं कृष्ण. So there are 2-3 pastimes. मैं बाद में डिटेल में बताता हूँ. एक तो जब when Krishna came as Shantidut, Duryodhana and all tried to arrest Krishna. Krishna is there. So there's a big conversation there. Discussion बहुत चलता है उधर. वो discussion में Duryodhana says, he may be God, but I want to arrest him. So causeless envy was. At one point of in a war, at one point of time, 13 day का जो battle है, when Arjuna goes to kill Jayadratha, वो battle में आप देखोगे, Krishna does so much of tricks, so many one after another. एक बड़ा trick. So at one point of time, Duryodhana gets so exasperated. Duryodhana says, "This is God. This Vasudeva is not ordinary. ये Vasudeva ना ये भगवान है." So that if you realize that, what you will do? ये भगवान है. You will surrender. Now what Duryodhana does? ये तो भगवान है. No, but I will destroy the Pandavas. I am determined. He thinks it is positive thing. ये इसलिए it's not easy. वो जो इसलिए ना वो सिंसियरिटी अल्टीमेटली आपका जो सिंसियरिटी आपका जो वो है ना वो आपका ही वेल्थ है. वो आपका जो वॉलंटरी सरेंडर है ना वो एक आपको ब्रेक करना है. वो हमारे साथ भी होता है. सिंपल एग्जांपल, कभी चैंटिंग कर रहे हैं, चैंटिंग करते करते नींद आता है, ठीक है चलेगा, तो नींद भी आता है. कभी कभी याद आता है कि गलत चैंटिंग कर. कभी कभी लगा ऐसा, अरे यार मैं सिंसियर, मैं अभी जो कर रहा हूँ ना गलत है. मैंने इतना क्लासेस में सुना है प्रभु जी लोगों से और मुझे भी पता है करो, पर यार छोड़ो, चलता अभी कर देते, कंप्लीट करते. लेट मी वॉच दिस स्टूपिड मूवी, लेट मी कंटिन्यू टू ईट दिस सिंपल फूड, लेट मी डू दिस नॉनसेंस पॉलिटिक्स डिस्कशंस. वो उसके बीच में याद आता है कि नहीं करना चाहिए. जपा करते समय नींद आ रहा है, अरे चलो हो जाते थे, मालूम अंदर से आ रहा है, अंदर से कृष्णा बोल रहे मत करो, सुना है. फिर ऐसा होता है ना कभी कभी, बहुत बार भी होता होगा. दैट इज एन एग्जाम्पल ऑफ causeless envy only. It's like Duryodhana saying कि मालूम है भगवान ने फिर भी नहीं ली, वही है. तो इसके लिए थोड़ा सिंसियरिटी लगता है. तो एक कर सकते हैं हम, एक टेक्निक है. इवन इफ वी दुर्योधन नहीं है, क्यों? क्योंकि वी कैन कम बैक टू कृष्णा लेटर एंड से कृष्णा सॉरी उस समय मैं आपको इग्नोर किया. दुर्योधन ने नहीं कहा, हम ऐसा कर सकते हैं. क्या करूं उस समय थोड़ा मेरे को एंजॉय करना था. See, even if we can't avoid Maya, if we can't say no to Maya, we can at least come back to Krishna and say sorry. But you have to be sincere. You can't be like Chalu Ram. Krishna also says, the Gita says 7th chapter, that I am the greatest cheater. Yutam chalayatam asmi. Of the cheats I am gambling. मतलब अगर हम कृष्ण को ऐसे चीट करेंगे ना, क्या यार गलत काम करते तो कृष्ण को सॉरी बोलेंगे, तो फिर कृष्ण भी ऐसा चीट करेंगे कि हमको समझेगा ही नहीं कैसे भगवान ने वो. तो सिंसियर होना चाहिए, बट होता है. वी आर नॉट दुर्योधन. डोंट गेट डिसहार्टेंड. अरे हम तो फॉल्ट नहीं, हम दुर्योधन नहीं है, तो इधर क्लास में नहीं आते थे. एंड आई वुड हैव सीन योर फेसेस ग्लोइंग एज सून एज यू आर अबाउट कृष्णा. आई सी ऑल ऑफ यू आर स्माइलिंग. दैट मींस यू आर ऑल डिवोटीज ऑफ कृष्णा. यू आर वंडरफुल डिवोटीज. इट इज जस्ट दैट वी हैव टू बी अवेयर ऑफ द दुर्योधना इनसाइड अस. You were saying something, Mataji?
Relating that even Ravan, he somewhere knew that who is Lord Ram, yet he also had that causeless envy.
It's very, very powerful. वो जो proper set, sorry, the exact word, causeless unwillingness. जानते हुए भी वो ना उसको हृदय दौर्बल्य भी बोलते हैं, weakness of the heart. ऐसा वीक हो गया ना कि वो, इसलिए we need mercy of devotees to pull us out. पर कभी कभी devotees क्या बोलते हैं, प्रभु जी give me mercy. जैसे ना प्रभुपाद का एक devotee ने बोला, प्रभुपाद please give me mercy that I can follow your instructions. Very important past है ना, ये सब आपके लिए बहुत अच्छा लगेगा. क्या बोला devotee ने? Prabhupada, please give me your mercy that I can follow your instructions. You know what Prabhupada gave answer? Amazing answer. आपको रात का नींद उड़ जाएगा तुम. Prabhupada ने कहा, I've already given mercy by my instructions. Now you follow it. You understood? And then Prabhupada gave example. वो example तो बहुत भारी example थे. Okay, first I'll repeat this. It's very, very nice. What is the question asked? Prabhupada, give me mercy that I can follow your instructions. So Prabhupada ने बोला, my instructions is the mercy. Now you follow it. But then Prabhupada gave the example that you are fallen in the well. I have thrown the rope. And now we just have to hold the rope and I'll pull you out. Now you don't say, Prabhupada, bless me that my fingers touch the rope. Bless me that I hold the rope. ऐसा करके Prabhupada हंसने लगे. So the point is, many times, we ask for mercy and we beg prayers as an excuse to not take responsibility or work hard and be determined. So Prabhupada said, so you have to be determined. But devotee said, Prabhupada, what if I don't have determination? Please give me determination. Prabhupada said, you have to be determined. Prabhupada, what if I am not determined? Prabhupada said, if you are not determined, you are an animal. कितना mercy, कहीं तो we have to do something. तो ऐसा होता है कभी कभी भक्ति में आने के बाद ना, we like to escape responsibility because it's easy to say mercy, blessings मतलब मैं वो कुछ नहीं करना है, आप लोग उठाओ मुझे. नहीं, we have to work hard. It is like this. Krishna is in second floor. We are in ground floor. Ground floor मतलब नाम अपराध chanting, offenses, unwillingness. And Krishna is in second floor. Krishna prem wala star. Naam aparad is lowest, ground floor. First floor is namabhas, which means sincere attempt to clean the heart. That is namabhas chanting. So we have our responsibility to come from ground floor to first floor. सीढ़ी है चढ़ने के लिए, पर फर्स्ट फ्लोर से सेकंड फ्लोर सीढ़ी भी नहीं है, लिफ्ट भी नहीं है. वो कृष्ण ही उठाने वाले, पर आपको ग्राउंड फ्लोर से नहीं उठाएंगे. आप बोलेंगे कृष्णा उठाओ मेरे को, मैं थक गया हूँ. बोले नहीं, फर्स्ट फ्लोर आउट है. फर्स्ट फ्लोर तो हमको आना पड़ेगा. अंडरस्टैंडिंग? तो नाम अपराध से वी कांट गेट शुद्ध नाम. शुद्ध नाम यू कांट गेट. इट्स नॉट अचीव्ड. शुद्ध नाम इज रिसीव. वो भगवान आपको देंगे, कभी देंगे, कैसे देंगे पता नहीं, पर आपको पहले फर्स्ट फ्लोर पे तो आना पड़ेगा. नामाबाद सिंसियर तो जपा करना पड़ेगा, डिटर्मिनेशन तो करना पड़ेगा. We'll stop here, viewers. It is 8:40. Thank you very much. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की, कृष्णचंद्र भगवान की जय. बोलो नंदनंदन श्याम सुंदर की, बोलो मोर मुकुट बंशी वाले की, वृंदावन धाम की जय. श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय. Thank you very much.